What is up, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE News video. Today, we have some awesome information for you guys, so let's go ahead and get right into it. THQ Nordic website has listed the Blob 2 and the Raven Remastered for the Nintendo Switch. Shoutouts to Nintendo Everything for the article here. So yesterday, THQ Nordic did confirm the rumors of the original The Blob coming to the Nintendo Switch. The game originally launched for the Nintendo Wii back in 2008 and will be appearing on the Nintendo Switch sometime in 2018. Now, THQ Nordic does seem to be readying more titles for the Nintendo Switch because the company's upcoming release page indicates that The Blob 2 as well as the Raven Remastered are coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, The Blob 2 is obviously a sequel to the original game, and the Raven Remastered is a redone version of the Raven Legacy of the Master Thief, a point-and-click adventure title. So it seems like THQ Nordic is readying up some cool titles for the Nintendo Switch. As you guys can see in this release list here, there are a number of titles that they are going to be putting out on the system. We did hear about stuff like Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire, that's also listed to come to Nintendo Switch as well. So THQ Nordic has some pretty nice support. Not quite everything. Darksiders 3 and a couple other titles aren't going to be coming over to the Nintendo Switch from THQ Nordic, but it seems like they're doing the best that they can with what they can when it comes to the developers and systems and bringing the games over to Nintendo Switch. Now, for those who haven't played The Blob or The Blob 2, they're really fun games. When I first saw Splatoon, it reminded me of The Blob. Like, instantly in my mind, I was like, yo, this is kind of like or reminds me of The Blob. Now, the games don't play anything alike. It's not like you're shooting and it's competitive and stuff like that. It's basically just the paint aspect and coloring the whole town in terms of colors and kind of going and completing quests. It's much more of a single player experience, although there is split screen multiplayer and multiplayer in the games. It's definitely more of a single player type of experience, but it just reminded me of Splatoon just because of the paint and the colors and kind of painting things in order to mark your territory or turf or things like that. So that's what it reminds me of. They don't really play alike, but The Blob 2, fantastic games, a lot of challenge, great fun, especially if you have people there to play some local multiplayer. You're going to have a blast playing this game on the Nintendo Switch, and when The Blob 2 comes over, that's also going to be a great title as well. And I've never played the Raven Remastered, or I've never played the Raven, the Legacy game, or whatever came out first, so I don't know much about that game, but the more games on the Nintendo Switch, always the better. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a bad game based on some of the screenshots that I've seen. So what do you guys think about The Blob 1, The Blob 2, and the Raven Remastered coming over to Nintendo Switch from THQ Nordic? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the next article here, THQ Nordic has acquired Deep Silver parent company Koch Media, and it's Koch, so I probably said that wrong, I'm not exactly sure, but either way, they've acquired them, and let's go ahead and get into this article here. So THQ has acquired them. They are the owner of the Metro and Saints Row publisher Deep Silver. Now, the deal is apparently for about $140 million the company has announced. Now, here's an overview of Koch Media as a company via their press release. Now, they are the leading independent producer and marketer of digital entertainment products in Europe and North America, with studios in Germany, the UK, and the US, and offices in several Central and Northern European cities. Now, they've done intellectual properties like we talked about. They have Saints Row, Dead Island, and Metro. They're publishing partners. They've done all sorts of things. They sold a lot of millions of units, blah, blah, blah. You guys get the idea. You guys know the games that they've listed here. Koch Media has a long history of profitability despite losses incurred from some less successful games. THQ Nordic CEO Lars said in a press release, THQ Nordic is convinced that the development studios of Deep Silver as the part of THQ Nordic will successfully deliver at least 4 ongoing AAA game projects, including Metro Exodus, as well as the next Volition Studios AAA release and the next Dam Busters Studios AAA release, together with the number of other game development and publishing titles. Koch Media CEO Dr. Clemens, and I cannot say that last name, added, quote, "I strongly believe that THQ Nordic is a great strategic fit with Koch Media. In addition to having long experience within games development and publishing, THQ Nordic has the skills, willingness, and capital to deliver growth in the future." So you can read the full press release, link in the description below. And I don't really have too much to say about this one because I'm not really a huge fan of Deep Silver's games. I did play Dead Island back in the day. I've played Metro a little bit. I'm not really huge on Saints Row or anything like that, so nothing really strikes me too much from this. I know this is going to be big for other people. They're using AAA and they're really throwing that term around, but I don't think anything that I've played from them would consist as AAA. I mean, I guess, but that's just my opinion on there. I'm guessing the money that they're spending on these type of games is what's consisting of AAA or that tag or moniker. They seem to me more like a middle line publisher when it comes to the quality of their games. I mean, in the 80s range, 70s range, things like that. But then again, a lot of people really like Metro. They think that that's a super high quality franchise, and Deep Silver has stuff that people think that is really good, Dead Island and all those things like that. By the way, we're still waiting for that new Dead Island game. I mean, it's taken quite a while to come out. But anyway, I just haven't really been too big of a fan of them, but it's great for THQ Nordic. I think it's a good fit when it comes to European publishing and titles and things like that. And I feel that they're going to have a lot of success going forward with THQ Nordic because they've turned things around quite a bit and seem to be running things a lot better than the original THQ. So that's good to see. So what do you guys think about THQ's acquisition here when it comes to it? Deep Silver, all of their games and IPs. Do you like those titles that I talked about? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the final article here, we got the media create sales for February 5th, 2018 through February 11th, 2018, and we got the opening sales for Dynasty Warriors, Sword Art Online, Fatal Bullet, Shadow of the Colossus on the PS4, and a lot more, plus the continued sales of the PS4. The amount of Nintendo Switch titles are on the list, so a lot of stuff to go over. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. So the PlayStation 4 version of Dynasty Warriors 9 launched at 117,495 units sold during its first week of sales in Japan and was the top selling new release for that week. The latest media create sales figures have revealed. Now for comparison's sake, Dynasty Warriors 8 for the PlayStation 3 debuted at 203,224 units sold, and Dynasty Warriors 7 on the PlayStation 3 debuted at 253,090 units sold. So definitely a pretty big step down from what we saw before. I'm guessing people were expecting or wanting a Nintendo Switch version and didn't get that, so they just opted not to buy the game at all. Now, although Dynasty Warriors 9 was the top selling new release for the week, it was still outsold by Monster Hunter World on the PlayStation 4, which has moved an additional 159,613 units. And shout outs to Gematsu for the article here. Now, also new this week, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet was the second highest selling new release with 75,623 units sold, followed by Shadow of the Colossus at 21,900 units sold. And Dragon's Crown debuted at 11,691 units sold. All these titles were released for the PlayStation 4. Hardware side, PS4 was once again number one, selling another 71,306 units, while the Nintendo Switch sold 43,404 units, and the Nintendo 3DS sold 10,516 units. So overall, pretty good sales across the board. PS4 got a ton of new releases. I thought the sales of the PS4 would be a little bit higher than 71,000 considering all the different new games they got, from Dynasty Warriors to Sword Art Online to Dragon's Crown and Shadow of the Colossus. 4 really good titles, and yeah, not really too much in terms of the sales department when it comes to the PS4. I thought it'd at least be at 100,000 or so with those 4 games launching, but still 71,000 is still really good. That's not a bad number at all. I just thought it'd be a little bit higher. And I do want to talk a little bit about Shadow of the Colossus because I talked about this before. I think you can kind of get people in the Western territories with Shadow of the Colossus because the game really doesn't have much content. It really doesn't. It has great graphics, but it doesn't have much content, and you can get people in the West. They'll buy the game for the graphics and say, oh my god, look at the graphics, this game is just so amazing. Even if they've played it before, they'll just buy the game again, even though the game doesn't have a ton of content in there. It doesn't really have any new content, any new Colossus or anything like that, you know, so it doesn't have any of that, and you can get people there. But in Japan, no, they didn't let that fly by. There's just not enough content, so they didn't buy the game. And that's what I kind of figured would happen in Japan, considering they're not so gung-ho when it comes to graphics and won't buy a game just because of that. So yeah, you see the sales there because it's essentially the same game, just better graphics. Whereas I do think that here in North America and in Europe, Shadow of the Colossus did a lot better. So we should see much better sales in North America and Europe for Shadow of the Colossus than we did in Japan, because here we're going to buy the game for graphics. And once again, it's a pretty old game. There's probably a lot of people who did miss it, and I just think that more people are going to buy it here when it comes to it, just because graphics are just more appealing and people will buy a game based on that. Now moving on to Sword Art Online, this game kind of did, I mean, it did decent because you saw the fact that it sold over 75,000 units, but if you compare that to Sword Art Online The Lost Song for the PS Vita and for the PS3, it sold a lot less. It actually sold, combined on the PS3 and the PS Vita, it sold 194,388 units back in 2015, and even if you look at it for just the PS Vita itself, the PS Vita version of that game sold 139,298 units, and the PS3 version sold another 55,000 units plus. So the PS4 version did sell a little bit more than the PS3 version in terms of like 20,000 units or so, but not having a portable version of Sword Art Online really damaged sales. So I think they probably want to get on porting that over to Nintendo Switch if they want to see some sales, because because that is a pretty big drop from the last release there when you have a PS Vita version and it sells over 130,000 units, almost 140,000 units, and you don't have that portable version anymore and your sales dip like all the way down to 75,000 units. That's pretty bad. So we'll see what happens going forward in the future. Although it did do decent though. It's not too bad, 75,000 units plus, that's still good. It's just a lot lower than what they probably could have had if they actually had a portable version. So I would expect to see a Switch version later down the line. So what do you guys think about all these sales here when it comes to the Media Create in terms of everything? And nothing really too much has changed outside of that. We did get stuff like ARMS, Splatoon 2, Super Mario Odyssey, Legend of Zelda, 1-2 Switch. All that stuff is all still in the top 20. Nintendo has a ton of titles in the top 20, so they're all still doing really good there and selling well. So let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of Player Essence across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube live gaming page and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you in for the next video. Peace.